Hey gamers, let's be honest. How many times have you seen a new game that looks amazing in the trailer, only to pick it up and discover it's just a rehash of a map full of icons, half the experience is just seasonal sales, and you're like, I'm not gonna finish it. I'm not against new games, quite the opposite, but there are old games that still give you enjoyment, spirit, and details that make you wonder, how did they get ahead of us in this era? So today I've prepared a list of 18 outdated games that are honestly better than many current generation games. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Look guys, Uncharted 4 is the game that every time I revisit it, I wonder, how was it even on PS4? I mean, how did the console handle all that incredible detail? All these years and the details are still obsessive and insane. Mud sticking to Nathan's clothes, raindrops on rocks, leaves moving in the wind, and all of this contributes to the feeling that you're in a real adventure, not just playing through levels. The first hour in particular holds you in with a clever calm. Then it gradually picks up the pace until you find yourself in chases and situations where you're thinking, this is a movie and I'm playing it. But what distinguishes the fourth installment isn't just the scenery and set pieces, it's the writing. Nathan is older, calmer, and experiencing an internal struggle between a stable life and his old addiction to adventure. The relationship between him and Sam is one of the things that kept me going because it's realistic with push and pull and genuine emotion, all without exaggeration. The gameplay has evolved. The graphics and climbing rope offer more freedom, combat is smoother, and you can seamlessly combine stealth and melee combat. My only drawback? Some fights repeat themselves midway through the game, but honestly, the overall pacing and presentation make up for it. Uncharted 4. It's a fitting end to the series. Elegant, emotional, and full of moments that make you smile and say, this is what a true single-player adventure is all about. And the game literally never feels dated. Dragon Age Inquisition. And now we move on to 2014. Dragon Age Inquisition, for me, is the kind of game that you play and days of your life disappear without you even realizing it. Sure, it's not the best game in every way, but it's a real treat for RPG fans. A vast fantasy world, choices, companions, and dialogues that make you feel connected to the characters as if they were your real team. When you first enter Hinterlands, believe me, you say, just finish a few missions and I'll continue the story, and suddenly, hours later, you find yourself still running after caves, camps, and lore messages. It's truly overwhelming with content. It's polished, not just empty filler. The best part of the game is building the Inquisition. You start almost lost, then suddenly you become the leader of an organization, making political decisions and managing the war. The feeling that you're actually managing the world, not just moving around in it, is rare. And the companions, this is where BioWare shines. Banter along the way, relationships developing, and romance for those who like it. Combat can be divisive. If you play it as straightforward action, it might feel simple, but when you use the tactical camera and start coordinating element combos, freeze, then smash, lightning, barriers, it becomes much deeper. And the dragons, their battles are epic, long, and require planning. Quantum Break. Imagine a game that tells you, instead of being a regular shooter, I'm letting you break time itself. That's exactly the feeling of Quantum Break. The first time I saw time jamming in front of me, the world freezing and cracking like glass, sparks frozen in the air, debris trapped in a single moment, I thought, okay, Remedy's got some cool. You play as Jack Joyce, and over time, your abilities become your real weapons. Time Blink for speed, Time Shield for protection, and bubbles to stop enemies or projectiles. The best part is that combat encourages you to be aggressive and strategic, not to hide behind a box and empty a magazine. When you master the combination of movement and abilities, you feel like you're in control of the battlefield, as if you're playing with physics itself. The story here is a surprise, heavy sci-fi with a plot and decisions, and combining it with a live-action series was a gamble.
Many people didn't accept the idea at the time, but if you give it a chance, you'll see excellent acting and a TV series feel within a game. There are moments where you choose the course of events from the other character's perspective, which adds a unique flavor. Its drawbacks? The integration with the series episodes might disrupt the rhythm for some, and some environments tend to be repetitive. However, as a different, bold experience with a clear identity, Quantum Break was ahead of its time and deserves to be rediscovered. Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm a huge Lara Croft fan, and if there's one installment in the series' reboot trilogy that truly made me feel like Lara Croft had transformed into a real adventurer, it's Rise of the Tomb Raider. From the very beginning, the game immerses you in the harsh realities of Siberia. Snow, freezing temperatures, storms, and the sound of Lara's footsteps as she struggles for breath in this unforgiving environment. Here, you feel like you're not just on an adventure, but fighting for survival. The game's strength lies in its balance. You'll enjoy the exhilarating exploration and the semi-open areas filled with secrets, caves, and challenges. You'll find action when you need it and stealth when you prefer a more relaxed approach. The crafting and development system is simple yet engaging. Gather resources, upgrade your bow and weapons, and choose skills that enhance your gameplay. And the tombs? They're what keep you going. Intricate puzzles, stunning architecture, and a genuine sense of discovery. It's like stepping into an adventure movie. Trinity's story might seem conventional, and some characters don't leave a lasting impression, but Lara herself is stronger and more complex, and her balance between determination and fear is masterfully written. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a polished game, full of cinematic moments and well worth playing.
God of War 3. Oh man, I swear I miss the God of War trilogy, especially God of War 3. I could play it 1,000 times and never get bored. How could I, when it's a wrathful epic written in unforgettable scenes? From the very first minute, the game hits you with an insane level of spectacle. Kratos on Gaia's back, a full-blown war against titans and gods, and you feel like the screen is smaller than what's happening on it. The combat here is the pinnacle of classic action, fast-paced, bloody, and full of combos that make you feel like a machine of destruction. Blades feel like extensions of your body, and with magic and new weapons every hour, the game gives you a new tool to fuel your madness. And the most important thing, the feeling of weight. When you strike or grab an opponent and drag them, you feel the power, and you feel like Kratos isn't a character, but a walking cataclysm. And the bosses? Man, Hercules, Poseidon, Hades, these aren't bosses, these are historical scenes. Every encounter has its own theme and drama, and the game maintains a constant escalation without any long lulls that might break you. Even the puzzles were well balanced, just enough to give you a breather without interrupting the fun. Today, you'll definitely notice that it's more on track than modern games, but that's part of its identity for its time, and frankly, it serves the cinematic effect the game aims to achieve. God of War 3 is the definition of epic action, fury, music, and destruction from beginning to end.
You know which GTA game, every time I revisit it, feels more substantial and authentic than many of today's games? Grand Theft Auto 4. Liberty City felt like a city of ruins, a bleak city with cold rain and crowded streets that felt suffocating, and that perfectly complements Nico Bellic's story. An immigrant living within an American dream that turned out to be a nightmare. The dialogue here is sharp, sarcastic, and sometimes painful, and Nico is one of those characters who feels human, not a superhero. The feature that still makes me smile? Euphorious physics. The way people stumble, cling, and fall feels so natural. Every chase and every gunshot feels weighty. The driving is heavy and wobbly, and at first you might hate it, but then you understand. The game wants you to feel like you're driving a machine, not a racing game. The shooting and cover were a significant improvement at the time, and with the music and radio, driving at night becomes an experience in itself. Despite its relatively short duration, I consider this game physically superior to GTA 5, from driving to weapon handling and shooting. Honestly, its flaws are obvious. The colors are too gray, some missions are repetitive, and the map is small. But in terms of atmosphere, story, and tone, GTA 4 still has that soul.
Rise, Son of Rome. If you're looking for a game that you go into expecting simple action and come out wondering, how can a game from 2013 look like this? Then Rise, Son of Rome is for you. This game was unfairly categorized as a just a few quick-time events game, when in reality, it's a focused cinematic experience that immerses you in a first-rate Roman epic. You play as a Roman soldier pursued by a heavy burden of revenge, and what sells you isn't just the story, it's the atmosphere. The first time you land on the beach, you feel the mud splattering on your armor, the arrows flying, and the clang of metal against metal is electrifying. Even today, the facial expressions and lighting on the golden armor are something that puts many games released years later to shame. The combat has a deliberately heavy rhythm: block, dodge, then execute. When you get the timing right and feel the weight of the sword in each strike, it gives you a strange sense of satisfaction. And in those moments of leading the battalion and forming a wall of armor against a barrage of arrows, you truly feel like a commander, not just a player. In my opinion, a game like Rise deserves a sequel.
Assassin's Creed Unity. Guys, Assassin's Creed Unity is one of the rarest cases I've seen in the series. A game born with a bad reputation due to a disastrous launch, and then, with time and updates, it became a hidden gem for those who truly appreciate the essence of the assassin: stealth, infiltration, and clean assassination. The game takes us to Paris. The French Revolution isn't just a backdrop. The city itself is wild. Crowds, shouts, banners, chaos, and it feels alive. And the graphics? Even today, they look very impressive, especially the architectural details and the lighting inside the buildings. The design of Notre Dame in particular is so stunning that many people always cite it as an example of meticulous craftsmanship. The story? Arnaud Doriant is on a journey of revenge and then coming of age, but honestly, the story isn't as strong as Ezio's tales. What truly elevates the experience is the gameplay. And here, I have to say, the parkour in Unity is the best in the series in my opinion. The parkour up, parkour down system lets you descend from a rooftop to a street as if you're gliding smoothly, not just jumping and praying. The movement has weight and elegance, and Paris is designed to reward those who love movement. Combat is now harder and more realistic. You can't be reckless against 20 enemies and get away unscathed, forcing you back into stealth. And that's when you truly feel like an assassin. In my opinion, Assassin's Creed Unity is the last installment to carry the Assassin's Creed legacy.
Mafia 2. To be honest, I love the Mafia series, but the second installment, oh man, is absolutely incredible. It's one of those games that will never go out of style. How can a game from 2010 still make you feel so much the same? Walking through the streets of Empire Bay, the snow on the sidewalks, the dim streetlights, the 1950s radio playing as you drive, you feel like you're in a city with a distinct mood, not just a map. The technical details aren't as groundbreaking as today's games, but the direction and overall atmosphere are beautifully deceptive. Winter has a weight, and later summer has a different spirit, as if the city is growing with you. But what truly sets this game apart is the writing. Vito Scaletta isn't a superhero, he's a man trying to escape poverty at any cost. And with Joe, man, their relationship is witty, loyal, and full of moments that make you smile, then suddenly tense because you know this path has a harsh end. The game doesn't present the gangster life as a luxury, but rather as a long, gradual bill you pay. The gameplay itself serves the purpose. Shooting is heavy and dangerous, stealth is meaningful, and driving is deliberately slow and sluggish like the cars of that era. Its only flaw, some missions are repetitive, and the open world sometimes feels more like a pretty backdrop than a hub of activity. But honestly, its focus on story and pacing more than makes up for it. Metal Gear Solid 5. You know that game where you say, I'll go in, do one mission, and then I'll be out? And then you look up and realize it's 4 a.m.?
The fan campaign is exactly that. Not because it bombards you with stories every minute, no, because it hands you an open military toolbox and says, "Here, show me what you've got." The first thing that hits you is the feeling of control. Snake Big Boss's movements are frighteningly smooth, and every tool you have has a real use, from scopes to bait to a silenced pistol. And the best part? The AI learns from you. Repeat the attack at night, they start wearing night vision goggles. Rely on headshots, they appear with helmets. The moment you realize this, you feel like the game is actually watching you and responding to you. And even the Fulton system, man, kidnapping soldiers and upgrading the mother base is unbelievably addictive. You say, just take one more, and you find yourself building an army. The worlds of Afghanistan and Africa offer plenty of quiet spaces, but this tranquility serves stealth. You change the mission time, wait for a sandstorm, enter through an unexpected opening. And your companions? DD, for example, completely changes your playstyle. You feel like every mission has 10 solutions, and each solution gives you a little story of your own. Kojima truly excelled in this. Just Cause 3. Sometimes you don't want a deep story or life or death decisions. You want a game that gives you the disconnect and enjoy button. That's where Just Cause 3 comes in, a meticulously crafted mayhem game, like an action movie on steroids, but you're the director, the actor, and the explosion all at once. It literally feels like that. You play as Rico Rodriguez with his legendary combo of grappling hooks, parachutes, and wings. Once you master this technique, the game completely changes. You hang from a car, launch into the air, deploy your wings, fly over a military base, and in 2 seconds you've blown up fuel tanks and heard the whole chain of explosions one after another. Moments that make you laugh to yourself because what's happening is stupid but incredibly fun. The map is beautiful and sunny, but its real beauty is that it's a playground. The tether system gives you insane freedom. Tether a helicopter to another helicopter, or a soldier to a missile. Can you imagine the fun? Or you pull down a cell tower, and every time they come up with a more outlandish idea than the last. No other game offers this level of chaotic creativity. Its flaws? The missions are repetitive, the AI is basic, and the story is mediocre. But Just Cause 3 doesn't promise an epic, it promises pure enjoyment. And it delivers.
Batman Arkham Knight. If we're talking about the best superhero games, honestly, the Arkham trilogy is the only one that comes to mind. And the ultimate is Batman Arkham Knight. Every time I play it, I'm shocked. How can a game from 2015 still look so futuristic? Man, the game is built entirely on the PS4 platform, so you can see how hard the developers worked. The details are insane. The rain on Batman's suit, the neon reflections on the streets of Gotham, the smoke billowing from every corner. It's not just the graphics, it's the complete noir feel. The gameplay is top-notch. The free flow system makes for smooth and intense combat, and if you do a long combo without getting hit, you truly feel like Batman, dominating the fight. But the greatest enjoyment for me is the stealth. You hang above, watching the criminals, hearing their terror grow with every one that disappears. Then you pull them out one by one from the shadows. That's the most quintessential Dark Knight feeling in games. The story is darker and plays on Bruce's mind intensely, and the Joker's constant hallucination creates perpetual tension. Its only drawback is that the Batmobile sometimes takes up too much screen time, and some of the Riddler's missions are time-consuming. But as a complete package of atmosphere, combat, and cinematic presentation, Arkham Knight remains a benchmark that is difficult for anyone to break.
Mass Effect 2? Look, I hadn't played Mass Effect 2 for a long time, but when I finally decided to play it, believe me, I was surprised and understood why players appreciate this masterpiece. When you play it, you feel like you're inside a real space opera. Decisions, a huge threat looming, and a feeling that everything has weight. You play as Shepard, but the great thing is that the protagonist here isn't Superman, but a leader who builds his team piece by piece. The strongest point of the game is the characters. Every comrade has a past, problems, and their own reasons for fighting alongside you, and you discover that loyalty missions aren't just side content, they're the heart of the experience. I literally would finish a mission and say, okay, I want to know more about this person. The writing is excellent, and the dialogues make you feel like you're actually managing relationships on a ship, not just picking a sentence and being done with it. The gameplay is a huge improvement over the first game. Cleaner aiming, enjoyable cover, and abilities that intertwine strategically. Sure, some of the mechanics are clearly from a bygone era, but the pacing is fast and there's no filler. And when you reach the end, the suicide mission alone is a reason that makes the game legendary, because every decision and preparation makes a difference. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, some games give you an open world, and some make you feel like this world has a history that preceded you and continues after you. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is the latter. The moment you set out with Geralt, riding Roach through the wind and mud, and you hear the sounds of distant villages and the war that has consumed everything, you realize you're in an epic, not just a big map. What impressed me most, the writing. You can literally enter a village for a simple contract to kill a monster and that's it. And an hour later, you find yourself in a story of grief, betrayal, or a curse with a very human reason. The game makes you ask, is the monster always the one with claws or the one with a normal face? Even your choices aren't cartoonishly good or evil. Many times you make a decision you think is merciful, then you see the result and ask, well, did I make a mistake? The combat gameplay isn't perfect, to be honest. At times the gameplay feels a bit dancing, and you need to get used to the rhythm of the dodges and the signs. But once you're in the zone, you truly become a witcher, preparing oils, drinking potions, reading the bestiary, and treating every monster like a puzzle. And signs like Quen and Igni give you a tactical layer that makes battles smarter than just random slashing. And the music? Man, Skellige alone is enough. The moment you hear the melodies and feel the cold, the sea, and the mountains, you understand why people consider it one of the best experiences of an entire generation.
Sleeping Dogs. This game is insane, and in my opinion, it's the dark horse of open-world games. Sleeping Dogs. Many people started it thinking it was just GTA in Hong Kong, but trust me, it has a stronger spirit and identity than games with much bigger budgets. You play as Wei Shen, an undercover cop in the world of the Triads, and that's where the real tension lies. Every move feels like walking a tightrope between law and loyalty, and as time goes on, you start to wonder, is Wei Shen still a cop? Or has he become one of them? The story unfolds like a John Woo movie. Betrayal, blood, human moments, and a build-up that forces you to keep going. The combat is the star of the game. It's not just shoot and be done with it. This is intense kung fu. The punches are heavy, and the environment is a weapon. You can shove someone against an air conditioner, smash their face against a table, or end a fight with a brutal move that leaves you saying, oof. The driving is also fun, fast, and arcade style, and the chases through the narrow alleyways are incredibly enjoyable. And Hong Kong, a vibrant city. Night markets, rain, neon lights reflected in the streets, the sounds of vendors. Sometimes I just wandered aimlessly because of the atmosphere. Yes, literally, Sleeping Dogs is a must-try game, and anyone who hasn't played it is missing out.
Do you know when I realized Red Dead Redemption 2 was a different kind of game? When I just sat for 5 minutes watching the dust rise from the horse's hooves and listening to the wind through the trees, and completely forgot I was even there to play a mission. Guys, this isn't just an open world game. It's a living, breathing world. You're with Arthur Morgan and Dutch's gang, and everything around you tells you life here is harsh but strangely beautiful. The graphics and art, to this day, it's hard to believe. The lighting at sunset, the rain, the mud, even the way people look at you based on your clothes and behavior. And the writing? Man, Arthur is one of the most authentic characters I've seen in games. Tough on the outside, but with a real struggle inside. What I love most is the small details, cleaning the weapon, camping, hunting, and the random encounters that feel like short stories in themselves. But to be honest, the beginning is slow. Some missions are a bit too linear and the controls can be clunky at times, but Red Dead Redemption 2 remains a masterpiece that will never grow old.